One of the things about International Harvester that a lot of people do know is that it truly was international. Tractors and tractor parts were built all over the world, and IH worked hard to find a tractor that fit every kind of need. And we have an example of that right here. Stu, tell us a little bit about the International 664. It really is a global tractor, isn't it?
Yeah, yes it is. What happened with that tractor is that I got a call on the phone from a local guy here in Florida, and he said he had a 664 tractor. I'd never heard of a 664, so I run for the books and went through all the international catalogs and everything. I couldn't find anything about it, and I called the guy back and I says, "You sure the number's right?" And he said, "Yes, I'm sure it's right." So he says, "I'll bring it down so you can see it." So he brought it down to the dealership here, and we went out, and sure enough, it was a 664. So I went back through the books and I found a little one-line blurb about the 664 was a stopgap tractor that they had built. The engine and everything was built over in Nice, Germany, at the plant in Nice, and then the rest of it came from the plant in Great Britain, Devonshire plant, and they palletized that, put it on a pallet, and bundled it up and sent it over to the Farmall plant at Louisville, and they reassembled them there. And they made those things in 72 and 73, and I think there was 1,323 of them or something got made. But they were pretty rare, so they put that one together and brought it over to the States, and they sold them here in Florida. I know they went to all the orange groves. It was really an orange grove tractor. And I was lucky to find it, and I couldn't find anything out about it except in that book, that little blurb. So it was built, the engine in Germany. All the rest of the components came out of Great Britain, and it came to Louisville, Kentucky, and was assembled here and sold here. And that's a global tractor, I'd say.
Yeah, that is a world-traveling tractor, all the way from Germany, England, and Louisville, and now down here in Florida. You say it was used in the groves in Florida. Tell us a little bit more about, I guess, the history of the tractor, how it was used, and then what tips you off that this is indeed a grove tractor.
Right. Of course, in Florida, when I came here, I've been here 42 years, and when I came here, orange was king here. Everything here was oranges, and any land that was available to grow anything on, it was oranges. And they had a lot of grove tractors. International had a big grove tractor lineups here, and all the big tractor guys here had these orange groves. They always had a lot of international high crops, and they had the grove tractors. So what happened was with this one is that this guy up in Umatilla had a small orange grove, and he needed a tractor, and he went and bought this 664, and he had it on the grove there for a long time. And of course, what they normally had was they had the turf tires on the rear, and it was low to the ground, and all they ever did with these was to drag a disc around the orange trees so they could disc around them so they wouldn't grow grass and stuff around the trees. And then the other thing that they used it with is to spray. They sprayed around with them, and that's what they used them for. Most of these tractors had what they call these slips on them that went around the tractor, covered the wheels, and it covered the rear wheels and the engine compartment, and it had the fenders enclosed so that when you went through the grove, the trees were real close together, and they'd go through when the fruit was on the trees, and they didn't want to tear the fruit off the trees. So it would slide over, and the guy could get down behind it so he wouldn't get hit with the limbs. And that was their groves. And this was a modified tractor here. This 664 was the one that they modified. They didn't put the sweeps on it. They just had the turf tires, and it was low to the ground, and they used it here locally.
Yeah, and this one has the exhaust that is exhausted down at ground level. And
That's right.
Tell me how handy you think this tractor must have been back in the 1970s working these orange groves in Florida.
Wow, I'd say it was real handy because they did use them. They had a lot. It was low speed, a lot of low gears in it.
They used them hard too, didn't they?
And they used them hard. They never took care of them. And of course, the first day when they got them, they were all painted, and they looked like this one. The next day, the paint was torn off. The limbs tore the paint off. So they never got taken care of. I mean, they were used bad, hard.
Tell us a little bit about the engine on the 664 International. Built in Germany, you say? Yes,
it's built in Nice, Germany. And International had a plant, and they had a lot of engines that were built in Germany for all the tractors that we had here. But built these Grove tractor engines in Nice. And that thing was about 65 horsepower engine, and it had only diesels in them. They only ran diesels.
You have row upon row of Farmall tractors here at your museum in Leesburg, Florida. Does this one stand out? Do people get kind of curious about the 664?
Yes, I've had people come and say they'd seen them, and then I've had lots of people come and said they never even seen that tractor before. Lots of people have never seen it. And the more the people that seen it had been in Florida, or they'd been in the Grove country where they were using them, apples and oranges.
Finding something new at Stu Paquette's Farmall Museum here in Leesburg, Florida. You'll get all kinds of Farmall and international history right here. Hey there, thanks for catching Classic Tractor Fever. If you'd like to see more Red Power, be sure to check out these other classic stories. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button to keep those classic tractor stories rolling.